Hi, I'm Dan, and you found Therapy Woodworks, the funky little wood studio where we work with wood and learn a lot of stuff and have a lot of fun. But today is a very big day, and if you can't tell, I'm pretty excited. We're not going to hang out here in my shop today. We're going to go to another shop. A friend of mine, Bill, has a stupendous woodworking shop and a nice setup. So we're going to go check it out. Come on, let's go. Hi Bill, thanks for having us here today. It's great getting out of my shop and into your shop and a different perspective for some of the Therapy Woodworks viewers. Could you introduce yourself and tell us how you started woodworking?
Hi, I'm Bill Mawson. I started woodworking basically when I was a kid by stealing lumber out of my dad's barn and building goofy little projects in the backyard that didn't usually work too well. I ended up in a hissy fit, but it started from there and then worked its way into planters and plant stands that I made for my mother that she pretended to like and did not. I knew that later in life, but I thought they were great. She didn't so much. And then it progressed. It's something I've always kind of done off and on over the years, and it turned it into a pretty serious hobby.
How did you decide on your shop's layout, and how many square footage is your shop?
The shop is 30 by 40, 2 floors. So there's the woodwork shop, which is the upstairs part, and then my downstairs, which is my welding, mechanical / toy storage and general storage, whatever. The layout, I basically wanted an area where my table saw would have enough room that I could comfortably run a full sheet of plywood in any direction. The miter saw station, I wanted the longest possible wall I could get for cutting longer boards. I can go up to about 14 feet either direction with my chop saw, so that's handy. The planers, both of them are lined up with other doors so that I can run longer material through the doors if I need to, and they have exit room for easily up to 16 feet. And then the rest was just kind of how it fit.
Have you built any custom jigs or tools which are most helpful? And maybe you could talk a little about your latest acquisition on your CNC machine.
I haven't built a lot of jigs. I've built table saw sleds over the years. I don't like them. I find if you have a good quality gauge, it does everything that you need or basically that a table saw sled will do without having a bulky table saw sled hanging around. I built a little jig for my router table. It runs with the CNC part of the fence for doing finger joints, that kind of thing. Mostly if I need a jig for something, I'll just make something quick and then it gets disassembled or used for something else usually. Since I rigged up set up with a CNC, I found the need for jigs is a lot less because the CNC, if I can draw it, it can cut it.
What type of projects do you enjoy building these days?
Quite a variety of stuff. I seem to lately be doing mostly CNC stuff like custom signs and these kind of tables and CNC cut furniture for fancier stuff.
Is there a favorite piece or project that stands out?
I don't know if I have one favorite piece. I have several in the house that I'm very proud of, including the house itself, because I did most of the work on that myself. Built all the cabinets, kitchen and bathroom cabinets. I milled all the trim and put it up myself.
So what's your process when beginning a new project? Like, do you plan anything ahead? Or do you just kind of improvise as you go along?
It's a bit of both. So it depends, I guess. If I have time on a bigger project, I know exactly what I want to build. I will sit down on a CAD program and do dimension drawings and 3D model it and have cut plans and dimension sheets and just go out and build it, cut it, put it together. It's nice. Most of the time I don't have time for that, nor I just have a rough idea what I want to do. And I'll sit down on the computer and look at ideas and find something that appeals to me, and I don't like to just directly copy other people's work, so I might use an idea and I will modify it to make it my own. Most of the time I just make it up as I go along. I'll come on with an idea in my head and start cutting or do some scripts.
What's one lesson you've learned over the years that you'd share with new woodworkers?
Ignore the YouTube fools that try to make it seem like you have to have all this expensive equipment, which I have, most of it. You don't need it to start. If you have some basic tools, a skill saw, I would recommend a router, a drill, maybe a cheap little chop saw. I built my first kitchen in a trailer that we owned. I renovated it with a skill saw, a router, and a cheap chop saw. And you can make some nice work with some really basic tools if you're careful and work at it. It's taught me a lot. I utilize YouTube a lot and for online forums and whatnot to learn how to do stuff and get ideas and stuff. But that's probably mostly what's influenced me and helped me.
Any advice for those out there in YouTube land setting up their first woodworking shop?
Organization. If you have a small shop, and that's what I started out with, a little 12 by 16 shed in my backyard that stored my snowmobile and my quad as well. It has to be organized, it has to be clean, it has to be mobile. If you have unlimited space, put the stuff where it fits best, give yourself lots of room. If not, then try to make it mobile and organized.
Are there any resources or woodworkers that have inspired you over the years?
The only one that's really, I guess, truly inspired me, and it was when I was a kid, was probably an old Norm Abrams.
Like all of us.
Everybody, yeah. The rest, I don't know. If there's lots of YouTubers and stuff that I follow and watch, but most of them now have gone so commercial YouTube that it's hard to bother watching them.
Kind of like Therapy Woodworks?
Yeah. Other than Therapy Woodworks, Dan is really good. He doesn't try to put on any airs. He just is what he is.
Thanks for your time, Bill. This has been a great and a pleasure. We'll go on a quick shop tour, because that's the favorite part of anybody's shop tour, is the actual shop tour. Maybe we can pick up and learn a couple of things along the way here. Tell us about your jointer, Bill.
Well, it's just your basic old King 8-inch jointer. I picked it up used on garage sale or something. It was in pretty decent shape. An older retired guy had it, and I drug it home. Hated where the on-off button was down underneath the table where you couldn't reach it, so I made a little bracket and moved it, and I can reach it now, and I'm happy with it. I like it.
I'm noticing a trend here, Bill. You have a lot of King industrial tools.
I do so. I like King Industrial. They're affordable, and their industrial line is actually pretty good quality. Their tolerances are pretty good, and their builds are pretty good.
You've got a bit of an upgrade on there. What's that all about?
I put a digital readout on it so I can do repetitive cuts to get my boards to exactly the same thickness, and if I need another board the same thickness, I can do that within about 1/1000th of an inch.
So this is your current router table. Tell us about it.
This is my current router table. It has a DeWalt router underneath contained. The fence and the lift are all CNC controlled with this little box here. So I can also control that to within about 1/1000th of an inch. It has preset programs on, which is what this little jig is for doing finger joints. So if I do a finger joint, I put my wood vertically and here clamp it on. And every time I push go, it moves the fence over the right amount to do a finger joint.
I see you're a fan of French cleats too. Tell us about that.
They work. They have their disadvantages, but they're handy for building quick, simple brackets to hang stuff. Some things tend to fall off periodically if you're not anchored or put locks on them, but for the most part, I'm happy with it.
I see your miter saw set up in the center of the room, like all miter saws should be. What brand is that?
That is the Bosch glide saw. I like it because I can basically have it against the wall. It has zero push through, and it has a really nice smooth movement. Terrible dust collection, but all in all, I like it.
Here we are, going to the bathroom. No, this is not the bathroom.
Well, it is.
What's the bathroom? But now it's dust collection. I noticed that you got the special unit there.
Yeah, I run the IVAC remote system on all my tools. So basically, this is plugged into a receiver, and I have a sensor on most of my bigger tools that as soon as I turn one on, it sends a signal to this thing and activates the dust collection. Right. I still have to run my blast gates manually, but I can live with that.
How do you feel about your Oneida dust deputy?
Love it. Haven't emptied one of those bags since I bought the thing and set it up. All my dust ends up in the barrel. Nothing goes through the impeller on my dust collector. I never hear the rattle of screws and nails. It's nice.
So this is the section of the tour that I know a lot of woodworkers are going to be dying to see. Tell us about your CNC setup, Bill.
Oh, it is a 32 by 48 Winfinity Foreman. Really like it. Probably in these days, probably my favorite toy in the woodwork shop. I probably do more work with my CNC machine than most of my other tools. Although, if you have a CNC machine and you want to do stuff with it, you're doing regular woodworking as much as the CNC side of it. If you want to do a sign, you need panels. If you want to have solid wood panels, you're cutting and gluing panels. It's yeah, but it's an awesome machine. It opens up a whole other world of possibilities for what you can do in woodworking.
So that's an interesting dust boot. I've never seen nothing like that before. How did that work?
That is a floating dust boot that I actually just recently designed and made. And it floats up and down as the spindle goes up and down. It is attached to the spindle. And it's all held together with magnets. And seems to work fairly well.
So this looks like an interesting piece. Tell us about that.
That is the rotary fourth axis for the CNC machine. So it basically turns it into a little CNC lathe that you can carve any number of round things or not round things or whatever fits in there.
That's awesome. Show us something that you built on this thing. So your rotary fourth axis system that you use enabled you to create these. Tell us about it. How did you do that?
I made a segmented hollow wooden tube about the right diameter, and I clamped it in there. I spent a couple hours on the program, a wrap program that turns a flat object into a round object so that the CNC can understand, and the CNC cut it.
Oh, something else in here is kind of unique. It's not a bedroom anymore. What is that, Bill?
That is my glue rack. Got tired of fighting with pipe clamps and running out of flat surfaces to glue things, and so I scratched my brain and come up with all sorts of different ideas, and they all ended up were gonna be way too complicated or way too expensive, and I settled on this.
Show us how that works.
So basically, these are just adjustable. They just hook on the top with a board that I cut. It's round. That top 2x4 has got a rounded top, so it fits these, and they can be positioned anywhere along the thing. So I just recently glued up some 9-foot pieces for down with the Smithers men's shed, and but comfortably 8 or 9 feet long, or anywhere down to whatever you can fit in 2 pipe clamps or 1 pipe clamp.
Well, that's awesome. I don't think my wife will let me set up a pipe clamp glue station in our bedroom like that. Then lumber storage / office / beer fridge room. Awesome.
Any final thoughts you wish to share with the YouTube viewers out there, Bill?
I think you want to try woodworking, try it. It can be quite enjoyable, quite rewarding, and like I've said, you don't have to spend a gob of money. Buy some cheap Canadian Tire tools if that's all you can afford, and get at her.
Not that Canadian Tire sells cheap tools. Cut.
Hi, I am Dante Danze. I assist him for when he screws and forgets to hit record.